Like, I'm getting all emotional. I'm gonna give you a little bit of humor me. Let me give you a little bit. I'm stuttering. I don't think I can speak anymore. Need to calm down a bit. So okay, so first of all, let me just give you a little outlay, right? Okay, so 4 years ago then, right, I didn't have a channel, right, I did gaming and so on, right, primarily, right, because I always loved anime, but I did gaming and so on, right, and I, did cosplay stuff and so on, and then I watched RC, right, episode 15, we're not talking about that, and during that moment, when I was episode 15, I was so in shock. I was sitting there, like, I was so in shock, right, whatever, and as soon as I finished the episode, I called my best friend. I knew he was watching the anime too, like when it's released. We talked about it for like an hour and so on. And after that, I went around and I was like going around and I have to watch every damn reaction. And that's how I even got interested in doing like this kind of stuff, right? Doing anime reaction views. So I mean, again, I always loved anime, but that was the moment that I was like, man, I want to do reaction stuff too. Then I went there for like 2 more years until I started doing it. But still, okay, let's review the damn episode. The damn REM killers. Okay, I had a series episode, season 2, episode 1 review. Oof, okay, let's go into it. Oh, bastards! But yeah, I immediately, so the first thing I want to say, right, from a reasoning standpoint, and still full of anger, right, is that kill this bastard, or maybe the other guy, but I think it's fair, right, my guess, immediately, right, is that if to get REM back, right, out of this coma thing, we have to kill this guy, right. That's my start on the review, right. Yeah. If we defeat this guy, she's probably coming back. Oh, I see my restarter for Lander. Oh, whatever. Yeah. My poor restarter, best goddess. Whatever. Yeah. If you defeat this person, I suppose she will return, or maybe the other guy, right? Because okay. So the first of all, the reasoning why Subaru. Of course, I'm guessing, but it makes sense to me. The reason why Subaru is remembers REM, right? Because she's best girl. That's why. No, but the reason why is because his powers. It's also working with time and manipulating reality. Going back and forth, right? And the thing is that every time Subaru, time travels back, he remembers what happened, right? So every time Subaru goes back one day in time, he remembers what's going to happen, right? And that proves to you that his brain, how his power works, but his brain at least. Remembers, the alternate realities. Let's call that right, yeah. Subaru has like, cosmic, Deadpool kind of awareness. Right? He knows what happened in the different alternate time travels, right? In different alternate realities. So of course, Subaru is the only one to remember REM because this guy, I suppose, or the person, but I suppose this probably is his fault, right? He probably so kind of mind wiped the world of REM, right? But Subaru, of course, remembers because he has awareness of all the different realities, right? Subaru knows that, so he's the only one remembering because he's like, well, I remember all my deaths, right? So Subaru, not only does he remember REM, but remember, Subaru, and this is the pain of LCL, right? Subaru remembers every death, right? Subaru remembers every time he died, so of course he remembers REM because her existing, or her memory, whatever, her reality, whatever you call it, is in one of his, alternate things, right? So of course he remembers different past with her and other characters, right? So yeah, so I think it makes complete sense that he would be immune to this like memory thing, right? Or whatever, why people can't, remember REM, right? And yeah, it was a really grim episode, right? Because Subaru, of course, kills himself. And that was like a really dark scene too, because he didn't get, damn it, I'm out of weapons here. He didn't go and get like an actual sword. He went and got like a broken sword and was like, so that was a really grim part because he didn't get an actual weapon, or I mean, arguably weapon, I guess, but yeah. He got like a broken sword here. Really, yeah, like he got like a broken sword, right? And was like, I'm gonna use this shit. So that was really dark too, yeah, that he couldn't even do it in an efficient way. I guess you still probably, it probably goes pretty fast, hopefully, and hopefully not too much suffering. But still, though, I think it's fair to say he could have used, like a better weapon, right, to do it and go faster. So that was dark. And then of course he freaking returns to goddamn Emilia. That's like, who's Dare Rem? Who's Rem? Dare Rem. He returns to that moment specifically when she says that. Right? That I have to say is a little almost. I'm laughing at it, but it's like corny evil from Arthur. I mean, he could have returned, like an hour earlier, and it still would be too late, right? But he returned exactly that moment. She's like, Rem? I don't know Rem. It's exactly that moment, and it's like, God damn it. So, being Subaru is suffering. Being Subaru is suffering, and yeah, I mean, I didn't know this, right? I'm an anime only, viewer and so on, so I didn't know, of course, that I was gonna go into this dark thing, right? I mean, given the trailer, so I was spoiled by the trailer. Don't get me wrong, right? I admit that I have not read the manga, so when I try to avoid all the spoiler comments, but I did get spoiled that, of course, Rem was gonna be injured at least by the trailer, but I didn't expect at all, right, to be that Emilia or whatever is gonna forget about her, right? And so that's even darker, right? Because not only is it dark generally, it must have One Piece phenomenon, right? But I leave that must be One Piece, but yeah, must be One Piece. That you don't, no one remembers you. But for Subaru's sake, right? The poor main character, again, being Subaru, is all suffering, right? It's a really horrible thing, right? Because he's the only one remembering how amazing Rem is, right? The girl he basically could marry but turned down, but you know what I mean. He's the only one remembering that, right? He's the only one like, I don't remember Rem, and it makes it even worse. And he's trying to save her, and he's failing. So yeah, it's like it makes it worse, right? That you were the only one remembering someone, and they're basically dead, and you're like, oh, like so. It's again the endless suffering of Subaru, right? And yeah, I did not know it's gonna go in that direction. Honestly, right? Because of course people have been taunting me with who's Rem comments for like a few months now. So, but I thought people were gonna mean like that yeah, Rem was probably gonna like die or at least be injured, and then people are like, who's Rem? Because she's out of the of the storyline or whatever. Because she's like out for a few episodes, whatever, right? I didn't think that I literally meant that no one is gonna remember her except of course Subaru, so he can have all his pain, right? But yeah, let's go to that scene. God damn it, that scene is painful. God damn it. Yeah, there's one painful. There's one painful anime as always. One painful anime, right? It's being Subaru is suffering. Being Subaru, it's a suffering life, and yeah, as I mentioned, right, that he's the only one remembering her makes it even worse, right? And for him, and I guess for her, but especially for him, in the second quote, man. Some good details there, though. I like that Emilia, of course, speaks honorific. So, of course, you can look at my Japanese, how to speak Japanese video, right? But basically, right, in Japanese language, you have, san and kun and sama and so on, right? And, shan and so on, you know what I mean, hopefully. I assume you know what I mean, right? And that's a good part there, because Emilia enters just before she started crying with Rem there, right? And she's like, oh yeah, Rem, and she uses an order honorifics, yeah. She's like, oh yeah, Rem-san or something. He's like, Rem? He's like, yeah, that's Rem, but you call her Rem this thing, yeah. So that was like a really good, I feel, emotional point there, because now then, of course, Emilia has the awareness of learning that this person's name is Rem. She doesn't remember her, right? But she, of course, sees this Rem person right now. She's like, oh, I'm gonna refer to her as, Rem, X, right? And he's like, no, you're supposed to call her Rem Y. She's Rem Y to you, yeah. You don't call her, Rem-san, you call her Rem-shan, yeah, that kind of thing. And that was I think a really good moment there when he's the only one remembering not just her, but also the general, how they view her and so on, right? How they, personal relationship, right? And, friendship and so on, right? So that was a good detail. That of course Emilia can learn who she is right now, but without actually, having any emotional attachment to Rem, right? He's calling her Rem, right? Yeah. So that's like a really good part, I felt. What more can I say? Great episode 1, of course, as we wait for it. As I mentioned during the reaction part, it's an interesting anime to watch, right? It waited so many years. Immediately starts pretty dark and grim. Perfectly fitting at 0. Yeah, I was like, listen to my voice. It's I give you this thing from like an emotional standpoint, not much with the anime, but I felt very interesting, right? Because I don't know if you share my feelings, but it was very interesting. I felt, especially doing this thing here, but it's like I'm so happily excited at the beginning, right? But at the same time, I know that man, someone's gonna die, right? So you're sitting there like, oh man, Asir is finally back. but someone's gonna die. Yeah, you have that it's like a really weird roller coaster of emotion watching the episode because you're so excited that like one of your absolute, not just animes, but absolute, storylines ever, right? Freaking screw movies and screw Marvel, whatever. Yeah, like storylines ever. At the same time, you're sitting there like knowing that, but god damn it, it's gonna go wrong though. It's gonna go wrong. So you're sitting there in that roller coaster hype. You're waiting for it to go down, right? You're like, then you're waiting for that moment to go down. But yeah, I think that she saw them, right, and from like a theory here, I think the reasoning is that either, of course, defeating one of those, or both of them, right, will return Rem's mind and memories. I think that's just how it's gonna be, right? But that being said, I absolutely guess here that Rem will not be returning, right, for probably, I don't know, 10 episodes, maybe the whole season. It wouldn't surprise me, honestly, right? It's gonna be like probably like this season. So on. What I'm wondering though, which I'm hope she wasn't in the episode at all, but Ram, right? I'm wondering about her sister, right? I'm wondering how, if the anime is gonna change their personality traits, because as I mentioned, we have seen this kind of power thing in other animes and movies. So if someone removes someone's memory, again, I want to spoil here, but I think what I'm talking about, the One Piece has a very good arc of that, right? But I don't want to spoil, but yeah, it's a very good explanation there. Where Usopp explains that, and he's like, if this happens, then this character is gonna change their memory. Like, if you remove this person from their life, they're gonna, change how brave they are, and so on. Yeah, like their character development is gonna change. So I'm really wondering now, if people can't remember Rem, will they change in personality, right? And especially then, of course, Ram being her sister, and of course we know that Ram and so on, right? Will her sister be altered, right? That's what I'm looking forward to. That's my biggest question with the whole Dara Ram thing. Will Ram, specifically then, especially Ram, of course, will she change in her behavior, right? Maybe she's gonna be more depressed, maybe she's gonna be a different person because she never had Ram in her life, right? She has no memory of growing up with Ram and so on. Yeah, that I think is gonna be an interesting sight to see that. Of course, not of course just her, but also potentially, of course, Emilia and Beatrice and the other characters, of course, and the new Rem, right, and the children and so on, right? Yeah, those people. Yeah, maybe right? It should be like that, right? It should be that they have, by not remembering her anymore, some of their character development scenes or whatever, right? Some kind of events flags in an October villain. Yeah, those things shouldn't have happened, right, in their brain, even if it did happen. That being said, though, this thing hasn't altered reality. It has altered their view of reality, I guess you could argue for. So they might be the same people, because what happened to them still happened. They just don't remember Rem. So they're still in the same, one universe. They just don't remember what happened in the past, right? So it might be like that. But especially for Ram, at least, being her sister and being so, attached, right? Those two, they're twins, and they're so, familiar with each other, right? And always hanging out together and so on, right? Wouldn't that still be like a huge thing for her? Even if she doesn't remember her, even if she has the current same personality. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see going on when we meet Ram and the other characters and so on. But yeah, it's that's S-Zero, guys. That's S-Zero episode 1, season 2. It is a dark, grim episode. Very emotional to watch. That's a review. Of course, it was an 11 out of 10 start. It starts immediately. It doesn't pull its punches. Also, yeah, before I forget, I also liked the Felix scene. It was interesting that we had a little Felix moment there, and Felix crying. Yeah, I didn't expect to be the whole, to get into like a Felix moment. That was kind of out of nowhere, but yeah, it was nice. Yeah, not nice, but you know what I mean. Like, yeah, it was interesting. We get some character growth on Felix and a little bit relationship between Felix and so on. Yeah, her master and so on. So that was interesting. That I didn't expect at all to happen. So it's nice. I like Felix. One of my favorite characters. I'm a big fan of Felix. So I was like, yeah, it's nice. That was nice. And as I mentioned, she kind of went through the steps of grief. First anger and bargaining, and then it's like, I accept it. And yeah, so that was interesting. But there was no opening. There was no ending. So next week, I thought this stream would be even longer, but next week then, what I'm hoping for is probably have an actual opening, right? I mean, you can find the song, right? But what means that one of my absolute favorite things to do, right, is to look at an opening, right? And then I say, this will probably happen. This one's going to betray that character, right? Based on, especially the Clover openings. But you know what I mean? Looking at the opening, and analyzing the different scenes right happening. That's like my favorite thing to do. I just love doing that, right? So that's gonna be next week, right? So I'm looking forward to that a lot still. Really, I really want to see the opening and the ending, especially the opening, right? Because opening is probably gonna show you new characters, right, and different story. Yeah, so next week I guess we're gonna do an opening review as well, and I'm looking forward to that a lot, right? And the first openings are really good, and you can find on my channel for that panel when I actually analyze and talk about the previous openings. I did that like a retrospective course. I actually haven't seen the anime, but yeah, I talked about the different scenery and so on. But one thing is immediately, I really love how, you know, the first opening, right, it starts with Subaru, you know, dying, and then it kind of reverses back into, yeah, like it's kind of like a, you know, back and forth. It's a very nice touch to it. So I'm really hyped to see, I guess, hopefully next week then we have the opening, right? That's what I'm really into. So anyway, subscribe for that, of course, but also want to smash out everything, you know, and yeah, subscribe for that next week. I think very emotional here, but yeah, so we also, of course, have all the stuff going on here this week. We have Usaki-chan on Friday, and also Rent a Girlfriend. I think that's to me at least like an interesting romance anime starting on Friday. So some other first impressions as well. Yeah, I think that this whole cameo, or you know, the romance dating anime, to me it looks really interesting at least. Anyway, see you guys and have a great day.